In just a moment, Mark Batterson is going to join us. He just wrapped up the featured breakout Snakes and Doves. And we asked him, was there one more thing on your mind? What would you like to talk about? So take a listen and see what he has to say.
Well, if I had another session, I think I would talk about something unrelated to my sessions. I've talked about right brain preaching and kind of a philosophy of ministry, Snakes and Doves. I would probably talk about the challenge of balancing family and ministry. I think if you were to ask me what is my greatest challenge and deepest desire in my life right now, I think it would be the challenge of discipling my oldest son, who's 12 years old, and we've got 3 kids. But really, I just, man, I do not want to sacrifice my family on the altar of ministry. And so I think the Lord convicted me over the last year that probably too much of my life has revolved around leading National Community Church and how am I leading my family. So when my son turned 12, I actually took him camping and we signed a discipleship covenant together, and I gave him 3 challenges: a spiritual challenge, an intellectual challenge, and a physical challenge. Intellectual challenge is just reading 12 books together that I feel could help shape him and in this stage of life as he's a preteen. And then the spiritual challenge was everything from setting life goals to putting together kind of a coat of arms that would define our values as men or as a family. Included fasting TV for 40 days together over Lent, and then we're reading through the New Testament together. Or my son would say we're underlining the New Testament together, because I just have him underline as he reads through it, and we get together every week for my most important meeting of the week, called our FSM, Father-Son Meeting. And man, that is a sacred meeting where it's just a touch point for me and my son to be together, and we'll talk through the chapters of the Bible that we're reading through. We'll talk about life. Some meetings are, we don't hear angelic choirs singing, but then there are other meetings where God just shows up in such a real way. And as a dad, it's fascinating to hear my son's perspective on the Bible and what God is doing in his life. And so the spiritual challenge is really the core of it, but then a physical challenge. We are running a 10K together because I want to accomplish a goal together. A lot of my life goals involve members of my family, and because I found that when you experience something together, those memories or those moments, in a sense, are the super glue that keep those relationships tight. And so, I just think that probably as spiritual leaders, it's just so easy to compromise or neglect what is most important to us. And I think I would challenge leaders. How are you leading your family? How are you loving your husband or wife? How are you discipling your children? And listen, I am no expert. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because it's something that I'm wrestling with. But at the end of the day, I think success for me would be my kids growing up, loving God with all of their heart, soul, mind, and strength, and wanting to hang out with their mom and dad when they're old enough to make that decision. And so put your family first. Put your family first. God comes first, but then your family comes before ministry. And I think if we keep those priorities in order, that God has a way of honoring that. And at the end of the day, National Community Church can find another pastor, but my 3 kids have one dad. And I want to pour my heart and life and soul into my kids while I have the opportunity to do it. And by the way, for those of you that might be older and might feel like you have some regrets, like, man, maybe I didn't balance my priorities, God does give us a second chance. and it's called being a grandparent. And so I would encourage you that, man, it's never too late to just make that investment in your family, put your family first, and God will honor it. So, yeah, thanks for letting me share a little post-session thought and hang out with you via video. God bless you.